Welcome to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio. Now, I'm super excited to be here on this beautiful Thursday morning, all right? And it's a Thursday, so that means, we have a lot to talk about. So make sure you stay tuned because obviously that is what I am here for. And I hope you're having an absolutely amazing morning because I am. And I honestly hope that you are having an amazing morning as well because it's what I'm here for, right? I'm here to share my thoughts, my opinions with you so that way I can actually make sure that you're always informed and you're always updated about the very latest. And when I say very latest, I'm talking about everything that happens all over the world, not just here in the United Kingdom, but in fact all over the world as well. All right. So don't forget to be a part of the show. Don't forget to share your thoughts and opinions with me because I would love to hear what you have to say. All right. And also, since we are having this conversation, I want to very quickly remind you that you can, in fact, get in touch with me. All you need to do is just text me on 078 share your thoughts, share your opinions because obviously I would love to hear what you have to say. All right. So don't forget to do that. And you can text me, call me, whatever it is that you want to do. Go ahead. Don't forget to do that. And don't forget to go follow us on our socials either. Now, you can actually go like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. And that way you can actually make sure that you're always informed, not just with regard to news, sports news. You can always be informed about politics, health, science, whatever it is that you want to know. You can always be informed about all of that. All right. So don't actually forget to do that. And don't forget to download our app either because that's available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. That way you can actually make sure that you're always informed about the very latest and you're always joining to the conversation live. So don't forget to do that, all right? Now let's actually head into our conversation because now we're going to be talking about this question of booster jabs, right? And the reason I obviously want to, bring this forward and talk about this is because recently we had our health secretary Sajid Javid actually come up and say, look, um, we need to give people booster jabs, right? However, when he said that, there was in fact a lot of criticism because a lot of people were like, you don't really need booster jabs at this point of time. And that is because and that's because everyone, almost pretty much everyone in England has actually been able to get the full vaccination, right? When I say full vaccination, I mean they've been able to get 2 doses of the vaccine. All right. So if you already given these booster jabs to all of these people, if you've given these booster jabs to people that already has been fully vaccinated, what that essentially means is that you're actually going to take out a lot of the doses that might be given to other countries. And the reason this is such a big problem is because if you actually think about it, a lot of other countries in the world don't have a good vaccination drive like we have, or most of the people in these countries haven't been able to get vaccinated because they are from poor countries, which makes it infinitely harder for them to actually get the vaccine, for them to access the vaccine. And when richer countries like the United Kingdom, like the United States, don't actually, when they try to share or rather hold the vaccines that they have, or they go and purchase all of these vaccines simply because they can do it, it's affordable for them. Even though that's the case, what that means is that a lot of these poor countries aren't really going to get the vaccine. All right. Now, with regard to the COVID plan, with regard to everything that is happening in our country, now COVID booster jab might not actually be essential. I mean, sure, it will be required for a small number of people, but not necessarily for everyone. It doesn't have to be a mass rollout, but in fact, if it's just for a certain group of people, maybe the most vulnerable people in society, then that would be completely fine. Now, this was actually what was stated by a senior government advisor because he wanted to make sure that people understood how exactly these booster jabs work. Right now, something else that you need to keep in mind is that Professor Adam Finn, who actually sits on the Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunization, said that they were actually still quite unclear whether all over 50s were supposed to be given the jab, or given the third shot, after the health secretary Sajid Javid said that there were plans in place to offer a booster, right? And essentially they've been asked to advise, or they've been asked to sort of figure out as to who might receive a booster if it proves necessary to give boosters, right? And that is why it's so important for us to discuss this as well, because in my opinion, I feel like if we have gotten full vaccinations, if people have gotten both the doses, then unless it's absolutely necessary, we don't really have to give booster shots to people, right? And the reason I obviously have this opinion is because, you know, there are so many people out there who haven't been able to get their, they haven't even been able to get their first dose, right? So that just goes to show. So, you know, it's very, very important for them to actually make sure that they share this vaccine, that they make sure that a lot of other people can have this vaccine as well. Because if not, you're actually putting not just yourself at risk, but the entire world at risk, right? Because we can't move forward as, you know, we as a world, as humanity, we can't move forward if only a certain amount of people are vaccinated. All right, it has to be everyone, it has to be good, big immunity, or rather a large amount of immunity for everyone. And the only way to go about with that is by actually making sure that everyone is vaccinated. Now make sure you stay tuned, because we're going to head into a small break, and after that we will be back to keep talking more about this. But obviously, until then, make sure you stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio, and I am super, super excited to be here because we're having a very important and interesting conversation, if I might add, with regard to the COVID booster jabs, right? Why exactly these booster jabs? Why exactly are we talking about these booster jabs? What exactly is the importance of these booster jabs? Now, this is the kind of conversation we're having, and obviously, I'm very, very excited to be here to share my thoughts and my opinions, not just with you, but in fact with everyone else who is listening in as well. All right. So if you have any thoughts, if you have any opinions that you want to share with us, please do get in touch with me. You know, let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what your thoughts are, right? Because at the end of the day, Relax Radio is all about you. It's about making sure that it's about making sure that we give you the best of conversation, and we make sure that we talk about the things that you love the most, that you love to talk about the most, because obviously that is what we are here for. All right. So make sure you stay tuned. You can text me or call me on 078 You know, share your thoughts, share your opinions with me. I would love to hear what you have to say. And also, don't forget to join the conversation live. All right. Because that way you can actually make sure that your thoughts and your opinions are heard right here on Relax Radio. And something else that you need to keep in mind is that we are there on all social media platforms. So when you're on Facebook or your Instagram, or on your Instagram, you can actually go like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. That way you can actually make sure that you're always informed and you're always updated about the very latest, because we make it, we take it upon ourselves to make sure that we give you the best of information to keep you informed and updated about the very latest that happens all over the world. All right. And don't forget to download our app either, because our app is available for download on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. That way you can actually make sure that you're always informed and updated, and you're also listening in from anywhere in the world, any time of the day, doing whatever you are doing. All right. So if you're going out to meet a friend, or you're going jogging, whatever it is that you're doing, you can always use our app and listen into the conversation. Now, however, let's actually get back to, this question of booster jabs. Why exactly is this a big question? Why are we actually discussing this now? Make sure you stay tuned, because I will tell you all about it. But obviously, for the time being, you have to stay tuned and find it out. All right. Now, like I said, basically, the Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunization doesn't really see that there is an immediate need to have a mass rollout of booster jabs. All right. So essentially, what they're trying to say is that, if there are certain vulnerable people, if there are people who have, say, whose immune responses are not actually are actually inadequate, or they're not adequate enough, or there are people who have immunosuppression of one kind or another, or they might even be having an immunodeficiency because they've been receiving treatment for cancer, or even some sort of bone marrow transplant, or even organ transplants, then those are the kind of people that will need a booster jab. All right. It's not just it's not basically everyone. These are people who already have pre-existing health conditions that make them have very weak immune systems. All right. So it's all right if you give these booster jabs to these people who actually really really need it, but not for everyone, right? And the reason that this is a question, or the reason that is a little bit of criticism with regard to this also, is simply because of the fact that when it comes to booster jabs, when it comes to making sure people get vaccinated and whatnot, there are so many people in throughout the world that haven't actually been able to get vaccinated, right? And of course, I'm referring to the people from poorer countries. I'm referring to people who don't have the same resources that we do to get those vaccines, right? And so essentially, what we're doing when we're giving booster jabs to everyone in our country is that we're basically robbing those people their chance of getting a vaccine, right? Because already we know already that there is a shortage for vaccines, right? And that's just the truth, because so many people, so many different countries have hoarded up millions and millions of doses of vaccines, and they're planning on giving it just to their entire populations. And I understand that when you have your own country, I understand that when you are in charge of your country, it is your duty. You basically have some form of duty to make sure that they are safe, to make sure that they're protected. However, if they've already been given both the doses, then I don't really see the point in holding up these doses unless they absolutely need it. And when I say absolutely need it, obviously I'm talking about the things that I just mentioned, people who have immunodeficiency or immunosuppression because they've been getting treatments for bone marrow transplants or organ transplants, things like that. All right. Now, something else that the Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunization also said was that they needed to review evidence as to whether people who receive vaccines early on in the program are in any serious risk of getting a serious disease, and whether the protection that they have right now from the first two doses is actually strong enough. All right. Because if it's strong enough, then they said that they don't actually need to be giving vaccines to people, or giving boosters to people who don't actually need them. Right now, this booster vaccination program will actually start on the 6th of September, but the JCVI actually said that they said that if they plan to have it before or whatnot, that they're still in the process of assessing these hospital admissions. They're still assessing these blood test samples, and they're trying to figure out if these people who've already gotten vaccinated actually need actually need the third dose, right? Now, on Tuesday, actually, Sajid Javid said that the government was awaiting the JCVI's advice, but he also indicated that the plan would probably be for over 50s. When they offer the booster, it will actually be for over 50s, and it'll be at the same time as the flu jab. All right, so it's important to keep that in mind as well, because here they're trying to make sure that our populations are vaccinated. They're trying to make sure that everyone is safe and protected. However, even though that's the case, what they actually need to keep in mind is that we still need to think about the rest of the world, right? And they might actually say, you know what, we don't really need to think about the rest of the world. Why is it our responsibility to make sure the rest of the world is vaccinated? And to that, I would reply with, you know what, the thing is, if we don't have the rest of the world vaccinated, if the rest of the world population doesn't get vaccinated, then we're not actually getting rid of the pandemic, because the pandemic is going to still be in these countries, and it's going to be the worst stage of the pandemic, because these people will not be able to, they don't have vaccines. They will run out of oxygen. The hospitals will be overcrowded. So it is in fact a big problem. Now, make sure you stay tuned, because we're going to head into a small break. And after that, we will be back to keep talking more about this. But obviously, until then, make sure that you stay tuned.
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday. And what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. What am I saving or investing for? Why am I doing it? When will I need the money? And how much money do I need? Yeah. So that's quite important, because when you're looking at your net worth, you got to start with saying, well, what do I want my net worth to be, so that there's a goal, and then work backwards. How do I get there?